For the cold though.
I am ready for the cold. It's
Next
supposed to be like
next week,
5 degrees or something
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, or it's coming up. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Eric, you better take your anvil to bed, or it's going to be cold when you're out there in the morning. It's going to take a couple heats just to get it hot, laying stuff on it.
Yeah, I've got some steel that I'm going to heat up in the forge and put on there, especially for tomorrow night because I've got a live stream forging tomorrow night and it's going to be like 10 degrees outside.
Snap! That's crazy.
I have a Russian fox fur hat that's this big giant. You look like Tina Turner when you're wearing it, and man, you so need that for that episode that you're going to do tomorrow
You
night.
should have a fur hat, yeah, with ear flaps.
It does have the ear flaps. They tie up. It's like a big Russian kabushka.
Yeah, I have one of those. They're great.
They are. And how I got it was when I worked up in Michigan, a friend of mine came back to work after traveling to Russia on business. We did work back then with Russia on solar technology. And anyway, back when the world was a little bit different. But he came back with looked like he was wearing a Yeti skull on his head. It was like the most ugliest thing I'd ever seen. But it was cool though. Anyway, I said, hey, when you go back, would you get me one? And it was like $40. He got it somewhere in the countryside, way outside of Moscow. The farmer trapped the foxes, skinned them,
Wow.
treated the hides, and then Mama sewed the hats together. And it is the most beautiful hat. And I love to wear it, but it never gets cold enough in Alabama, but to wear it maybe once or twice a year. So we're supposed to get cold here next week.
That's the kind of people we should be letting in the border from Canada. Is like the old Russian mamas that can make some fur hats.
And Oleg Bolshevik, he should be over here as well.
I agree.
3, 2, 1, 0.
You're listening to the Knives Templars.
Get ready, y'all. We about to Bobby Boucher you. Bam!
I got a piece off of the wagon that Sam Houston used to take JFK to the moon.
Pinto sauce. I like that. Pinto sauce.
Pinto sauce.
You're tuned in to the Knives Templars podcast, featuring Odisir Special Sauce Pinto.
I was a mean kid.
Long time listener, first time caller. Eric T.R.E. Rivers.
Holy crap, I built something.
Don the Train Watson.
I can pay off all my credit cards and beef jerky credit line at Bucket.
Joey the Riot Terrier.
Cochon de lait will make you smack your lips and anyone getting too close to your plate.
Mark Vasallo.
There would be a lot of places I would launch myself to.
Chip Shegman Carlisle.
Woo! And featuring David Moore, Jason Fry, and Josh Moran.
And now broadcasting alive, it's the Knives Templars. Coming to you live from Porkhouse Studios located in Hartselle, Alabama and other U.S. locations. This is the Knives Templars podcast. We are on air, on demand, and heard worldwide in all of your favorite apps and at knivestemplars.com.
.com, I tell you. .com. If they ever need, if GoDaddy ever needs a new spokesman for their commercials in the Super Bowl, I can always do the .com for them. So anyway, if you're listening, GoDaddy, that's spaghetti margherita at yahoo.com. Get in touch with me. Hey guys, welcome to season 5, episode 49. We're one away from 50.
Woohoo! Almost there.
Oh yeah.
I know. Everybody gets excited about 100, and I'm going to be giddy about 100. But 50 is a major milestone. We will be there next episode. But this episode is equally exciting because it's the first one of 24. We've been doing this since, 22. So here we are in the first month of the year of 2024 of the 21st century. Is that right? 21st century.
Yeah.
Here we are. Hey guys, I'm not going to sit and read all that stuff I normally do about, rising and budding and great new podcasters or listeners and knife makers that want to become business people and knife makers. Let's just put it like it. We're the best thing podcast out there. and we're glad you're here at the Knives Templars tonight. I'm Chip Carlisle, otherwise known as Spaghetti Margheriti, when I do voice work over on Cartoon Network, and for Preparation H ads, of course, at my age. But I am Spaghetti Margheriti in Preparation H. Just that's, you can take the rest from there. But anyway, we are so glad you're here. I'm going to tell you who's not here tonight and why they got a pass. We've got Joey Terrio. He's playing volleyball with his daughter. It's very important.
Okay. That makes it okay.
We've got Josh Varan, who's in a hotel room in Fort Lauderdale, all holed up down there, instead of coming up here to Alabama, where it's going to be freezing cold tonight. So he gets a pass. I think he's doing a long week at work and having to be down in Florida again next week. And then we've got poor old Dave Moore working down at the water plant. We've got like 12 inches of rain today, and he is flooded, and he's made it home. But I'm not sure if he'll be on or not. But at this time, just trust me, he was up to his knees in water today, water and other things. So anyway, we're glad you're here. We got me, Chip Carlisle. We got Mark Vasallo. How are you, Mark?
Hey, I'm doing great tonight, Chip.
Good. Mark's still sporting his goatee, looking good. There's a countdown to it coming off because he's got to put on his dress blues for Air Force ball extravaganza. What do we call this?
I know this is a Mardi Gras ball, but I'm wearing my mess dress to it. So
okay. He's going to a Mardi Gras ball, so he's got to take that off. We got Odysseer back in the house. His son went back to work, and Odysseer got his studio back where his son was camping out during his stay at home. Where's your son at these days, Odysseer? And welcome back.
Oh, thank you for having me back. My son is stationed at Fort Irwin, California.
Yes,
right in the desert. About 3 hours from LA and 3 hours from Vegas. So
driving those steel bulls, right?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Having fun.
Did you enjoy your visit with him?
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Did he have to beat you up at all? He's a big man now.
No, yeah, he's bigger than me right now.
Yeah. We got Jason Fry down in over in Texas for me, down in Texas from Odysseer.
Howdy.
Getting ready for have y'all got snow predicted coming up?
No, it's not supposed to precipitate any. It's just supposed to be like 5 degrees or something stupid like that, which for down here is remarkable. So I think they're predicting 80 or 90 hours below freezing, which again for here is it's a thing. I mean, it's
for sure,
Michigan or nothing. Yep. But I'm just sort of hoping the pond will freeze up enough that I can have the kids walk across it just so they remember. Since this is sort of semi-public, I'm not really going to do that, y'all dummies. I'm not going to send my kids out on a pond until I check it first. But okay,
4 inches of ice.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you can drive. I think you can drive on 4 inches of ice. I know we did up in Michigan, but
we walked around on a stock tank a few times at 2.5 inches when we were kids, and but. No, I'm not going to put my kids at risk, but I think it would be a fun experience for them that they would always remember us. Hey, remember the time we went to the park and walked on the pond?
Oh yeah,
that's sort of what I'm hoping for.
Odysseer, did you see hockey player on my resume?
Not yet.
I was played adult league hockey up in Michigan, and we had ponds out around our house, and we always went to a rink where we rented ice, and I wasn't a great player, but guy talked me into doing it. It was a no check league, but on the ponds it was always 2.5 inches. You could go out there and start skating. So I've actually still got my Bauer blades and my stick and everything out in the garage.
Cool.
I got my fishing shanty. Shut up, Eric. I was 40 or 41 years old, which was a long time ago.
That doesn't matter. I would be in a check league right now, and I'm that age.
Eric.
You're all one season, buddy. I promise you.
It's all right, Eric. I'm a big boy. I can take it. Jason, glad you're here. Now tomorrow is actually tomorrow. This weekend's going to be a good time to forge because that will heat up a shop. That will heat up a shop for you.
Yeah,
Eric, welcome.
Oh yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, what were you doing? You're running late tonight. Were you coming out of coming out of the shop?
No, I was coming out of making some awesome, awesome, awesome dinner that I was having to baby because I wanted to make sure it didn't burn at all. I was doing uh, sirloin, like cut up into cubes, and then carrots, potatoes, and rice. And then I did a tomato based beef broth, uh, kind of like jus in it, jus if you want to call it that, because it's a real
Man.
thick sauce. And it is good. I'm trying not to burn my mouth. I'm just sitting here. If y'all have been watching me, and I'm just sitting here blowing on it.
Yeah, see, I thought
It is.
I was.
It is still steaming.
It looks good, but see, I thought you were eating beanie weenies, and I just because, I mean, I don't have 4K on this screen right now, so I mean, I was
Oh
just like,
yeah.
I thought you were just eating a can of something real quick. So yeah, man, that sounds good. Well, before we do it here
Awesome.
on, episode 49, season 5, VMAX. Well, that does look good. What'd you have for dinner, VMAX, tonight?
So I had some crock pot roast with carrots and onions and mushrooms, with some mashed potatoes, and it was pretty good.
I make
Yeah.
that too. That's a delicious stick to your ribs meal, man. You were lucky. You were
It
lucky.
is.
I found out you go out and buy a set of or a slab of baby back ribs, cut them in half, and throw them in a crock pot for 7 hours with some salt and pepper and some barbecue sauce and a quarter cup of water. Come back 7 hours, sauce them up again, and throw them in the oven for about 15 minutes to dry up that sauce a little bit. And gosh, I don't think I'll ever smoke ribs again. Put you a couple drops of liquid smoke in there if you want that smoke flavor. But gosh, they're good. Otis here.
Yeah.
Well, what'd Mama make for dinner tonight? And VMAX, what you drinking?
So I am having tonight. So I have a little leftover Evan Williams eggnog from the holiday. So I'm sipping that as for some dessert.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays,
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
I
Good for
still
you.
got some of that same
Good.
stuff in my fridge right now.
Good stuff.
We're gonna have several breweries reviews tonight, and since these guys probably want Eric, you drinking flavored water?
Yep.
What? Let me guess the flavor, because it's wrapped in a towel. It's blue colored water. Brown, pink.
Black
Rusty.
cherry lemonade.
yeah. You're drinking.
Cherry lemonade.
You're drinking.
He soaks some blades and he's drinking the Muratic afterwards.
That's what I was thinking. He's drinking his acid from his.
That's the vinegar.
Yep.
After it pulls the
Chloride,
Ford
huh?
scale.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, sipping on ferric.
Jason, do you have a fast food cup with something in it tonight?
That is my usual, but tonight I'm just drinking some high quality H2O.
All right.
Just a glass of
All right.
water, man. And I didn't really have dinner. I got a sick kid at the house. We're all kind of just low key. So I ate a snack. Maybe I'll eat another snack later after we're done.
Oh, we got a sick one at my house too. So Otis here, you were so excited pre-show telling us about what you got to drink. So first, what'd you eat for dinner?
I had about a pound of salmon.
Ooh,
Nice.
Pound of
nice.
salmon.
Nice.
Did you eat it like a bear, just kind of throw it in your mouth, throw it up, and kind of, or did you just kind of pick through it with a fork and a knife and enjoy it?
No, I'm civilized lately. A fork and a knife.
Well, you have
Ball.
He has run with the he has run with the Jaguars. Did you eat the eyeball, Otis here?
Do it the what?
Did you eat the
The
eyeball?
eyeball.
When I have it, yeah, of course.
She didn't buy you any eyeballs with this?
No, she bought just already the salmon fillets and
Fillets?
yeah.
With
That's
the
good stuff,
kahunis.
though.
Did you eat the salmon?
Yeah,
You
good
ate the
stuff.
salmon.
She baked it with some coconut and whatever seasoning she put it in there, and it's just delicious.
Well, what was the seasoning?
You're gonna have to ask her. I don't know.
Well, I would say, did she
Probably some lemon
cook it
sage.
with did she cook it with the how pilotas? Did you eat the pilotas?
The what?
Pilotas.
Don't know that one.
I don't know that one.
Was it a male or female salmon?
I didn't ask. Could have been a tranny.
Let me try this a little bit
They win
differently
it.
here.
They them. They them.
Yeah, this is a they them salmon.
All right, I'm going to try something different here because I know that you're a little the bolas.
Oh,
The bolas.
the bolas. No bolas, my friend.
Okay, there we go.
Not that I could see.
I had to get down to Portuguese. I realized that just Old Espanol wasn't going to do it. We got to do a full Portuguese.
No. Spanish is pelotas.
Right. In Portuguese, it's bolas.
Bolas.
Boca cerrada no entra mosca, so to decir. Boca cerrada no entra mosca, so to decir.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Sounds good. That was Spanish. That was Spanish.
Close enough.
So, what are you drinking tonight? Because you're definitely laughing at stupid jokes. It must be good.
I got introduced to a new drink over the holidays, and I had to run to the local liquor store and grab me a bottle. It's called the Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. You know, to
I've
the
seen it on the shelf.
Misfits,
Yep.
Black Sheeps, and Screwballs. Absolutely delicious. You know,
Yeah, peanut butter whiskey.
very strong. So don't go chugging it. This is just a little sip here and there. But if you're interested, you know, that's what it looks like. Got a little sheep on the sheep's head on the label.
The fact that it's got a sheep on the front of the bottle scares me, Otis, here. Knowing that you came from a second world country.
Yeah. Third.
Yeah. Is that third world?
Should be, especially now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess if you got Jaguars, it's third world then. I was just wanting
South America in general.
Oh, I was just wanting to give you. I wanted to give you a heads up. You know,
what is the separation between first, second, and third? Do a quick explanation. You know, just
I don't know.
Gun. I think they really went away from that term. There's another term they use now. Somebody felt like that was too
developing world or whatever. Yeah,
there's a new.
You choose your own country pronoun.
That's right.
I don't know if it's your GDP that you go by, if it's your GDP or if it's if they are considered you developing. But a lot of those countries have been around for a very long time. I mean, Venezuela was amazing for a while. Now you consider that absolutely third world because just think about their currency and what it's worth compared to the American dollar right now. It's nothing.
So here's what Google says. This is really interesting. So Google says that it really has nothing to do with status. That it started related to the World War II alliances. So the first world was the U.S. and Western Europe and their allies, and the second world was the communist bloc like China and Cuba and all those guys and Russia, and then the third world was just everybody else. So
Otis,
by that designation, third world fits Brazil.
Otis, you stand up for your home country. You guys were throwing severed heads off of pyramids 7,000 years ago to the sun god. You're not third world.
So we can have as many worlds as we want.
People still love Brazil. The thing is
2024. You can have as many worlds as you want.
Right.
Yeah. If you watch, there's a YouTube channel. It's called Active Self Protection, where basically it's a really big YouTube channel. What they actually show where people have to defend themselves, whether it be from a knife attack, just a regular, just physical attack, or and think through what you should have done, thought process wise, to be able to get out of the situation, or what the people in there did well versus who did bad. And about 75% of them are from Brazil. They have a lot of cameras in Brazil, a lot of cameras. And the crazy thing about it is people will just walk into a restaurant and shoot a police officer. Their police officers they wear civilian clothes all the time. If they're if they're at their, if you want to call it a headquarters or whatever, they might wear their actual uniform, but almost all the time they're just in civilian clothes, and they have the ability now. They passed a law that if someone is robbing someone on a motorcycle at gunpoint, they're allowed to just plow into the person on the motorcycle in their car.
You see those videos on the new Twitter X. For some reason, they keep popping up. It's amazing when you first get on Twitter, the stuff that they send you don't want to see, and eventually, I guess it figures out you don't want to see this stuff, so it goes away. So I've seen those motorcycle robberies and people just running over people, going, "Dang!" Hey, Otis here.
Yeah.
Y'all have the Amazon River runs right through your country, though, right?
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of places for people to disappear there, and if the alligator or the crocs don't get you,
Well, we say
the piranhas will.
the jaguar ate him.
There you go. There you go. Well, guys, we haven't done a brew review in a while, and I know it's been a while. And with that being said, I had a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. It was actually a bacon bits, a real bacon bits, lettuce, and tomato sandwich tonight because we didn't have bacon, so I sprinkled bacon bits on there and some tater chips because Mama's got she's got a little bit of food poisoning and she's having a hard time. She's coming through it. She's gotten through the worst part of it now, but she's downstairs camping out tonight. So that was that. And then when I came up here, I've become a margarita connoisseur. And I must tell you, I am drinking a triple. I almost said margarita. There we go. A triple margarita tonight. And they're perfect.
Is that like
they're delicious.
3 times as big, or are there like 3 ingredients? What's the triple aspect?
Both of those are correct because it's lime juice, it's Patron tequila, and it's triple sec. And there's your another 3 triple sec, 3 ingredients.
Sec, huh?
Yep, and the right ratio, and it's perfect. And I will tell you, as far as I guess I can review my own drink because Otis here, we've talked about my resume in a while, so I want to take you back just a little bit here. Back in my mid-20s, I used to be a surfer. I know that you look at me now and you're like, a surfboard would hold you up. It did back then. And so we used to surf the East Coast. We'd go out and paddle with the otters on the West Coast occasionally. And I found out on the West Coast when the otters disappear from the seaweed, you need to get out of the water real quick because if the otters are getting out of the way, something big swimming in the area. It could be a big seal or it could be a great white, but you get out of the water. But, the annual trip down to Costa Rica, man, I tell you what, let me paint a picture. I'm going to take you back here. I'm going to tell you what this tastes like. When we would get up in the mornings, we'd go down there and we'd have a little hut and it wouldn't cost anything. We just ate on the street each day. And in the mornings, we'd get up and we'd walk out to a little stand and they'd pick a couple avocados out of the trees, and they'd just be the perfect ripe. And they'd take them down and they'd cut them open, take those pits and throw them out and spoon those things out and throw a little lime juice in there, a little salt, and mix those things up. They'd have a piece of flatbread that they made just in a big metal disc type thing that sat over a fire, and they'd smear that whole thing on there, and it was just like eating heaven. It was so good.
So are you saying that you personally invented avocado toast? Is that a thing?
No, but that's where I first experienced it.
There you go.
Yeah. And
taking credit.
No, not at all. I'm not taking credit for any of this. But we'd sit there and we'd drink a few cervezas with breakfast and maybe a little strong coffee because in Costa Rica, it's extremely strong coffee. They pour it through a cloth and it goes down into a little tiny cup and it's very strong. But we'd get out there and we'd get in the water. I remember this one place we stayed one time. The river went into the water and we were down there surfing around that river, and one of the waves caught us and it pushed me on up in the river. I'm coming up and I'm watching up in the stand where the people made the avocado toast way back then, mid 80s, and they're screaming their arms up in the air and they're like, get out, and I'm waving at them. They're like, get out, and I realized I was looking at crocodile slides on the bank. I wasn't that deep in the river now. We probably shouldn't have been that close to the mouth of the river, but I scooted on and got up out of there real quick and made my way back up to the top of the hill to say thank you, thank you, thank you. That's when one of those guys took that lime and took whatever homebrew, tequila they had there, and showed me exactly that one lime and that tequila and the triple
Perfect
sec, and
ratio.
he put a little pure cane sugar syrup in there as well. And occasionally I'll do that, but it's not. And I drank those, and I drank those for all afternoon, and just so thankful. Gave the guy a great big tip. Hell, he saved my life. We were up there on the hill. You could look down and see all the crocodiles that were actually out in the water. Occasionally, I find out those saltwater crocs go out into the. So we shouldn't have been anywhere near the river, mouth of the river. Anyway, I was
Yeah,
trying to.
that's one of the things that is scared the most for me.
Yeah,
Going into a river and stuff. Yeah.
almost ended. It could
If
have
I
ended my.
have a slight suspicion there might be a croc or a gator or a caiman in the area, forget it. I ain't going in there.
It could have ended my podcast dreams way back then. So, or
Right?
podcaster. So, anyway,
Before they even started.
These things were good and I was young. So probably after 4 or 5 of these things, I go stumbling back the road to go back to the hut / little rustic building we were staying in. It just had some bunk beds in it. And I ended up off the road and down into the jungle and walked down this path. And it's not a Black Panther story, Otis. I don't even know if there are Black Panthers there. But I was down there and I fell asleep on it next to a tree. And the next thing I'm waking up and something's nudging me to wake up. I guess I've sobered up a little bit. And I look up and it's an orang pendek. Never seen one before. An orang pendek had nudged me, woke me up because there were iguanas nipping at my toes.
Wow.
And it was trying to make sure that I got out of there. And that's when I became a Sasquatch lover, investigator, researcher, and all that. Because if it hadn't been for that orang pendek, not only did the guy who teach me to make the margaritas save my soul that day from the crocodiles, my first South American Bigfoot got me up and out of there. And he disappeared as quickly as I saw him. He just kind of nudged me. I looked up. He had this kind of smile, kind of like yours, Otis, here. And then he just, he faded into the forest, and I walked up to the hill, and we went home a couple days after that. And
that must have been one good margarita.
That's what these
those things.
That's what these margaritas. That's what these margaritas taste like. Cheers! Cheers! Cheers!
There you go.
Hey guys, what you got going on in your shop, Eric? I want you to go first. I got something exciting to tell you guys later.
Jeez, I got too much going on in my shop. I need to narrow it down. Now, I did actually narrow down some of the builds that I'm doing, prepping for a blade show. But yeah, I have finished 11 of the knives that I was working on, and have them put to the side so that whenever I finish the other, I think another 8 that I'm taking from the fresh stuff, and then I've got 17 that I'm bringing that were already made, and so I should have just over 30 with me. I narrowed that down. I was going to take 50, but I've got to make a lot of sheaths, a lot of leather, a lot of kydex, and I'm not about to spend every waking moment making sheaths for months because I love making knives. I am cool with making sheaths, but after I've made like the 5th one, I'm like, screw sheaths. I like making things that cut stuff, not things that hold things that cut stuff. But
That's
I've
why I
got to make a bunch.
That's why I like those nylon velour cases for chef knives, because you don't have to make a sheath. You just slide it in there, and here's your knife.
Well, I'm only going to take 2 chef knives with me. It's one collaboration with the guy that I'm going to be doing the table with, and then one brute to forge chef knife. He's bringing primarily chef knives, so I don't want us to compete within the same type of knives that we're bringing. I want him to be able to bring in chef knives, and if somebody wants chef knives, they scoop them up from him. If they want EDC camp knives or choppers, or a sword or any of that, because I'm bringing bringing a couple of swords. I'm gonna bring the double-bladed dagger. I'm gonna bring the fantasy challenge one, the World of Warcraft
all
looking.
for sale. All for sale.
Yep. Everything's gonna be for sale that I'm bringing. If somebody wants to offer, not really offer, but if somebody wants to buy one of those builds, they absolutely can. The custom ones like that do come with the carrying cases, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. I had to order some very large carrying cases for the big ones, but I've got to do I think 22 sheaths. Yeah, 22, and
Yeah.
half of them are leather, half of them are Kydex. Actually, no, it's probably like 2/3 are leather, a third of them are Kydex, and
Do
it's
you
got some cool stuff.
do you have a price on the fantasy build knife yet?
$1,000.
That's all.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get if someone
There's
wants if someone wants to offer more than that, but I'm not gonna have it listed on there. I'm just gonna tell them that it's $1,000.
Oh,
And
okay.
if they
I was
want
going
to
to say
buy it, cool.
$1,000 just for the sanding you put in the scales on it. And I'm talking
Yeah.
about the metal scales, the dragon scales.
The thing is, could I ease? Yeah, I could sell it for probably like $1,800 to $2,000 because of what it is and all that. But $1,000. It's
Well,
I'm
if your
realistic with the prices on them.
if your table gets rushed right at the beginning of Blade Show when they rush in and they go to that knife, it's $2,000 at that point. Okay.
yeah,
Right.
it might be $2,000 to start with, and then the second day it's 1,000.
Yeah.
But
Last
and
day
I will be
5.
at table 13F, as in Frank. So 13F. We the
So
table of
13F as in flatulence or fart or
yes,
okay.
yes.
Gotcha.
And but yeah, I'm working on all that, trying to get just a whole bunch of stuff done. Tomorrow I've got to grind bevels and prep things for heat treat for a bunch of knives, trying to get them lined out within the processes. And I've been hand sanding handles for 3 days now, uh, all day, the whole entire time. I say all day. I did a little bit of life insurance work in the morning for the past few days, and then the rest of it has been just hand sanding handles.
Yeah, I don't know how you're doing your YouTube right now. You've been quite busy. I saw on the one Shop Talk Tuesday, I believe you pointed back and go, those 15, I'm making this, forging this one right now to break up the monotony of those other 15 back there that I'm doing production wise. So
Yep.
it's good you're breaking it up a little bit, just to kind of keep your sanity as you get ready for all this.
We'll be forging a camp knife tomorrow night. It'll be the last thing that I forge for Blade Show. I'll have that done tomorrow night whenever we're out there forging, and then I've got a Shop Talk Tuesday episode coming out. I'm back to doing that every single week.
Yeah, those are pretty good. The last couple you put out.
What day of the week do you do those on so people will know?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
For the Shop Talk Tuesday.
That was
crazy.
You couldn't have named it better.
That's the margarita talking.
I'm excited that I get to put out the videos again. I've been so focused on knocking out all of these knives that it's just been trying to think about picking up a camera and filming whenever you're just sitting here trying to knock out so much, because it was over 30 builds that I've been working on, and a lot of them are custom, like they're all hand forged, they're all different types of handle material, different pins, different, it's not a whole bunch of just stock knives that I had cut out and all that stuff. Like, these are all ones that I've had to put just a ton of work into, but they're all gonna look good.
You know who reminds me of you to a certain degree is Brandon Guys. I don't know how that guy puts out all the damn videos that he does, quality videos. Matter of fact, the one that he put out just doing a review of a steel supplier
Yeah.
was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I was like the LUTs, which is the lighting effect, the LUTs, the a filter, the background, the resolution, everything. I was like, this guy should be maybe he is. He should be a full time YouTuber,
Yep.
doing reviews or something, or knife making as well, because he's so damn talented. I hate him too, but
Yeah.
I
He does do YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel.
does he really? Okay, I have to check that out. But is it under creative?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same
Guy,
thing as
yeah, okay.
his page.
Well, I got to check it
Creative
out
Guys
because
Productions.
okay, Creative Guys Production. That's not GUYS, guys. It's GUISE, right?
Yep. Yep.
Creative Guys Production.
I posted a picture. I was watching his video of one of the ones that he'd just been working on while I was out in the shop filming a video. I was like, filming a YouTube video while watching a YouTube video.
Yes. Well, guys, let me just stop you right there real quick because I want to make sure we bring in a couple sponsors here. The first one being TR Maker, and guys, just to let you know, our condolences and love to our buddy Ucel who owns TR Maker. You can find them at tr-maker.com. But they have lost a family member. I believe it is his mother, and they have very temporarily halted things while they reverence to her, and she passes on to be with God. But with all that being said, TR Maker's still alive and well and making great products. You can find them all over the world since 1980. TR Maker has offered great quality and fast service from Istanbul, Turkey. You need to check out their full line of knife making tools to make your job easier and more precise. And precision is everything. The last 10 minutes, Jason Fry, you can't do without their products once you discover them. So check them out at tr-maker.com. Also, we want you to check out our buddies over at Redeem-Steel. They're at www.redeemsteel.com. I guess you don't have to say www anymore, but I already have. And they're made up of craftspeople of all sorts, bladesmiths, blacksmiths, metalworkers, woodworkers, leatherworkers, etc. And they use their talents to build homes for the homeless, give water to the thirsty, feed the hungry, share the good news of Jesus Christ, and so much more all over the world. Redeem Steel is a 501c3 nonprofit. You can be assured that they're putting their business back into the community and using the works of their hands and the words of their lips and their heart to make a lasting impact on those that they serve. So Redeem Steel, guys, check them out as well. Go ahead, Eric.
So I wanted to hit on the TR Maker real quick. I don't have any of their stuff, but they had sent Matt Rich a wheel for his surface grinder, and
right.
The wheel had a little bit of an issue in it, and so they just straight sent him another one, and it had a little bit of issue in it. And they sent him another one.
Oh, wow.
So when it comes to their customer service, man, and he's been able to talk back and forth with them through like Messenger and stuff like that, and they handled business.
He was super
they took care of
responsive
him.
with me.
Yeah, I talk to you still several times every day. Of course, there's like a 8 or 9 hour time difference over there, but I've got some guys in other parts of the world I talk to, but he's one of the ones I'm always communicating with, and he is all about customer service. So yeah, if something's not right, and the order I received was more than perfect because it came with great customer service as well. Products were excellent. So if you run into a little flaw, just know that you're buying from somebody who not only will honor that, they will honor it quickly, because I've heard that, my shipping, I ordered something on a Wednesday. It was there on Monday from Turkey. That's good. So even with Mark, I believe your replacement came in as soon as they had replenished their inventory. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, no, it was great. Talk about customer service. I mean, he personally talked to me, and it was in the mail immediately, and was pretty quick in shipping. Like, I was amazed of how it made it that far that quick.
Isn't that crazy? Because I did this. I got a notice that it was going through customs while in flight. I'm serious. So that must be a really cold job.
Yeah, that was me and Pops. I got a thing saying your order has shipped, and it was like literally sitting on my front porch. I got the notification it was shipped, and I got a alert from my camera on my front porch, and I walk out there, and it's sitting there. I'm thinking, there's no way this is a package for a different company or whatever. No, it was Pops. I was like, what? And with them, I accidentally did my order twice, and they called me and said, "Hey, did you mean to order all this stuff twice?" And I said, "No." They said, "Okay, cool. Don't worry about it. We'll cancel that order and we'll get the other one to you." That was yesterday.
Wow.
I got the stuff today.
Maybe they got Luke Berry running orders and an Uber at the same time, and he just got the order and ran it.
It was ridiculous, man.
Man, oh man. Otis here, you got a lot to talk about. I'm going to hold you back because you got a lot to talk about. You have grown, baby. Hey, I want everybody to know I'm looking forward to making another knife tomorrow, starting off with a new tool I've got. And I got a guillotine. I just couldn't stand it any longer. And it is the most solid thing. I want you guys to know that I got the last one.
Oh. Now you're so
Eric, I hope you got yours before he bought.
Yes, but there's other things available. If you go to Etsy and go to Yesteryear Forge, he has guillotines for sale. Now, I bought the $98 one that has pins in it that the tooling slides down in. It is so solid. I can't wait to start hammering bolsters and the backside and actually making some tooling for it as well. But I paid $98, $122 total with shipping. It was here in 4 days. And that is the cheapest I've seen a guillotine. Gets 5-star reviews. I've had several people IM me on Facebook that own it, blacksmiths and such, that just love it.
Yet?
I use it the first time tomorrow. And the reason being, I've got to go see a guy in the morning. He's going to help me. I don't have a welder, so we're going to weld a strike plate on the top tooling bar. That way it sacrifices it.
I dented mine.
Well, the interesting thing is that you can it's 1/2 by 2-inch steel. So I mean you can make new tooling as quickly as you can order it, but you might as well make it last a little longer. So I've got that. But just to let you know, he also has another one available. And if I go to Yesteryear Forge, I don't want to jump off without telling you that. Let me see.
Let's see here.
Eric just bought it. Is that the problem?
Yeah, I was like, he had one available. So I think I'm going to do the one with the 1-inch hardy size, so I could put it in a bigger anvil.
All right. He also has one that's got a slotted sidewalls, and I believe it's about $150. He had 6 of those last week. He's been selling for a long time, so I assume that he puts these in stock when he makes them. But the $150 one, instead of having guide bars that these the tooling slides down between, he's got slotted grooves in the sidewalls that the tooling fits into and slides down. So both look equal. They both get great reviews, and I can't wait. So Yesteryear Forge, you guys go check those out. Hopefully I'll have some nice pictures to post this week. And I'm not going to stop until I get a heel down around that where I've hit that tooling in. My heel is not going to be setting out an inch away from my bowl.
So I did notice that you have been forging a lot. Round stock. You made your integral knife. So yeah. So I mean, you're doing good. Everybody seems to be growing and developing a little bit faster. It's a good thing.
We are.
A good thing. It's amazing.
And I've got all the flat stock, and I will tell you this, Otis here, is that did you just order one, Eric? Are you ordering in real time? Where did you order that from? Which one did you get?
The one like yours.
Ooh, that's so cool. Did it come from a different supplier?
No, this is.
Oh, he had another one.
He had one of them available.
Well, Etsy will always say,
you, Chip.
No. Etsy will always say there's one available, because if I go to Little Grizz Hats, the hats will say one available. But the thing is, they've got 72 hat felts to make those.
Yep.
So that's a way of getting them to move. I think they say like one available, 6 people's carts. So
Yeah, the other ones that you were talking about actually have sold out written on them. The ones that
okay,
have the slot.
and the one that you just ordered said sold out all this week. So Eric, they're probably sold out again. That's great. Now the listeners have been screwed by you, not me. so but good for you. I think here's the neat thing. I've done 2 knives. I've hammered in the bolsters. I know I can do it. I've got a nice spot picked out on my anvil for taking my cross peen and the other side of that knife and putting that in there. I can do it. Now I'm just going to make it easier with the tool. So I'm looking forward to that by all means. So,
it's way easier.
Yeah. So, Otisir, you ready? Because I'm not ready to talk about what you want to talk about yet because
go ahead. Go ahead, though.
No, you're not going yet. Eric, thank you for your order. You'll have it in 5 business days. Eric is so excited. He's giddy. B-Max, what you working on? What are you working on?
So I worked on 3 different things this past week. It started with so my son he wants to buy a 3D printer, and so I want to, or a 3D printer, right? That's what you call it.
Did you tell him? No. Did you tell him, son, you don't need a 3D printer. You need to buy a heat treat oven.
That's right. No, I didn't tell him that, but that's good. So he came to me. He's like, "Hey, Dad, can you make me?" He doesn't have any room spot to put it. He's like, "Dad, can you make me a table and to put it on?" I said, "Absolutely, I could help you make your table." And so we worked on that this weekend and got a pretty sturdy quick table together. I just got to finish up doing some sanding on it, and that'll be done this weekend. The second thing I got done and was working on in the shop is I got myself one of those Wen air filters for the shop.
Yeah.
I think I don't know, a couple of us have one. I think Don has one. I don't know if anybody else on right now has one, but did a lot of research, and it seemed like for the price, it was one of those things that everybody says that I don't know, is maybe $100, maybe just over $100 on Amazon. And so got that all hooked up, and really it comes out of the box. You just have to, hang it from the rafters. And so, it's got the timer in there, so I could leave the shop, vacuum everything up, leave the shop, turn it on to run for like 2 hours after I leave, and then it'll run on some speed for 2 hours, and then come back. So got that all set up.
Is this a Venturi or is it a just a filter system?
No, it's just a filter system. And so,
where did you get it? Where did you
Amazon.
Say where you got it from? Amazon.
No, it's a Wen, version, and they have different capacity, like size, volume. I don't know, blower volumes or something like that. I don't know. I have to look at what size this one is, but I really need it for my shed, right? So not a big spot, so I'm sure it's going to be more than enough. But I could already tell the difference because when I used to walk into my shed, no matter how much I would clean up in there, you could just smell the a little bit of the metal and the wood and everything just on the air in there, and so which means you're probably breathing it in. First 2 days I ran that, I went in back there and I was like, hey, I completely do not smell anything. So it's really done a good job of getting that particulate out of the air. So probably something, definitely my lungs are saying that, hey, it was worth every bit of that $120. So got that done. So definitely recommend that. And then the third discovery I had is, I'm working on that hidden tang knife. Hadn't have as much time because I was doing these other things, but using my tilt table finally. This is the first use of my tilt table doing some grinding, and made an interesting lesson learned discovery is that if you have a hidden tang and you're doing shoulders, not on the top and bottom, but on the left and right, for your guard fit up, and have the tang just a little bit thinner. When you run it over that tilt table, if you're not really pushing down on the flats of the blade, that will catch. Because the tang goes past the edge of the notch on the tilt table. So if you kind of push it, that little ridge, sometimes if you're not really keeping it as flat as possible, that little ridge will catch as you try to step over the notch. And so it's probably a good lesson learned because if it's perfectly flat, it won't catch, right? And you really want it perfectly flat on the flat part of your blade. So was just really getting the gist of it's not a given. I mean, there's technique, with that. Plus it's my blade's got a little bit of a recurve, so you gotta kind of start with the even and make the tip low and then make the tip high and then come back and try to keep that on. So I've been working with that, but I could already see that it's a really nice tool to have.
It is, and I'll tell you a little Templar's tip here for you, Mark. I actually have ordered, and I haven't installed it yet because I haven't used it. Haven't used my tilt table in a little bit. I ordered some Teflon sheet. We used to use this in pharmaceuticals for transfer purposes, for like packaging and bottles would transfer across this Teflon sheet very easily. It's as thin as paper, but it's adhesive on one side. So I'm going to get that Teflon sheet and I'm going to put it on my tilt table, because not only will it shed that, it's also going to shed all those metal filings. So I can sit there and spray it, or just I usually keep a 5-inch wide paintbrush at my machines, and when I'm doing, I clean them. But I'm going to install that Teflon sheet because you can just either blow, or what I prefer is to paintbrush it off and clean that up so you get less scratches and stuff. So when I try that, I'll let you know. And I just got my Teflon sheet on Amazon, and just make sure it's it's thin. But the steel and all that stuff's not going to dig into it unless you've got gouges already in your knife. So your knife should actually be pretty flat and smooth when you put it on there.
That's great. That's great.
Dragging it across that tilt table tends to put a lot of scratches when you start getting grit and stuff flying around. So we'll see how it works. I'll give you some feedback. Hey guys,
let me know.
I want you all to go out to popsknifesupplies.com or popsknife.supplies. Hey, Pop's Knife started 42 years ago by James Plopland. James was already an accomplished knife maker when he started the supply business at Pop's, and it served the knife industry and community for many, many years. He has industry leading, or Pops has industry leading prices, and also they only charge you actual shipping costs. So when you pay the shipping costs, if there's a difference, they refund it right back to you, to your card. So today it's run by Alan Searles, Joey Berry, Dirk Lutz, and they are full-time knife makers, and their focus is customer service, great products and services. You can't beat those guys at Pops. So if you get an opportunity, go out to Pops Knife and buy some of their products today. I flubbed that one up a little bit, but hey, y'all got the point. I think you got the point. Y'all get the point. Where you going to go, Eric?
Oh, definitely Pop's Knife Supply.
There you go. I got the point
and
across.
I'm going to evidently get it insanely fast.
Yes. And hey, I do have to tell you one thing. When you do your knife talk, whatever, when you introduce your guillotine, you have to say, this is my new guillotine, as influenced by Chip Carlisle of Shegman Knives. And you can find him at knife-maker.com, because I know, and I'm joking, of course, I have started getting all of these knife makers that tag me when they do that everybody thing or whatever, and their knives that I may want to buy. And I'm thinking to myself, they're not marketing to the right audience, because I don't think many knife makers are going to buy someone else's knife. I don't get mad or anything or delete them or block them. It's just kind of like, guys,
So you say that, but I've had I actually sold more reoccurring knife projects to fellow knife makers than I have random people. So I've had several knife makers.
I've got a few knife makers that have bought from me as well. It's a thing.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Well, then I eat my words. I eat my words. I eat my words.
I just don't have the money to buy a knife, but I'm not now.
You'll probably get one for your bar mitzvah someday. So
all right.
Yeah, it's all good.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov, baby. Mazel tov.
Oh, I am excited about one thing I got from Pops. They have this it's like a jade G10 that they have, and I haven't used it yet, but I got that. It's a black liner material and some awesome black pin material with a black lanyard tube, and I am super excited about doing the project with it. I think it's
like G10 scales or G10 liner.
It's scales, so it's
okay.
Yeah.
You know, Mark's going to want to buy that because Jade is Chinese. Chinese is martial arts, and BMAX is martial arts. He's got the name some martial arts knife, Mark.
Some martial arts knife.
What's the name of some martial arts?
A steak knife. You can use any knife in martial arts as long as you know how to use it.
Like a screaming stick.
So Mark is going to be dancing around the studio with a jade steak knife, singing "Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting." I guess.
Hey, I'll do that.
A dowel with a big lanyard.
Yes,
that's right.
Hey, guys, I did something this past week that you're probably aware of now, but I watched my very first episode of Forged in Fire.
Whoa!
Saw that. How exciting!
So
what did you? What's the review? What's for somebody who has never watched an episode? I think this is a great, unbiased opinion for your first time. I think this is a breakout moment.
It's kind of like that show, Naked and Afraid. Nobody's going to do that. But is it a cool show? Yeah, it's a cool show. Especially for me because I know so many. When I say I know of, or I've spoke to them, or I've seen them in circles in the pit. I know so many of the people that are on there, and I know their character, who they are outside of that, and not that they're not that way on the show. It was very interesting. I watched a show with Vince Molina and Ryan Broadbeck, and what intrigued me was seeing Vince is working out of his backyard, storage building, basically set up as a knife shop. And I don't remember seeing. I think Ryan had a larger shop, if I'm not mistaken. But Ryan went out in the first round. Vince, his pommel fell off. I think he was going to win until his pommel fell off, or his butt. Is that what you call it? The butt, the end of the
cap.
Yeah, it fell off because it snapped, and I thought, and the other guy made a beautiful blade also, but I think Vince just did a great job. And I'm like, the other guy had this beautiful piece of Damascus that he made out of this beautiful shop, and here's Ryan making this thing out of his lawnmower building out behind the house. And look at the knives coming out of lawnmower buildings or garages or this, that, and the other, and that was the cool thing. So it wasn't so much picking the steel. I know where Karambui comes from now, Eric, because that was what they, Ryan built on that show, and that's what the knife that won. But it was very interesting. So here's the rest of that story, though, because now I know. Here's these two guys came together on that show, and look what they became. And as I tagged Ryan this past week, he goes, "Did I lose this one again, or did I? Because he went out in the first round. Did I lose this one again, or did I win this again?" I said. Well, the results were still the same, but look at who you've become because of who you are. He's a household name in this industry for the product that he makes, and look at what Vince has become because of who he is, and their character at the shows we go to, and how nice and what great people they are. It was like Forged in Fire is a stepping stone. It's a catapult. It's a trebuchet for people that have momentum.
It really is.
Yeah.
Look up Josh Howard's episode.
Oh yeah. I mean, he burns down the barber chair.
I'm just saying in his little episode that he did, he's like forging it on one of those like little bitty anvils.
Yeah.
The little knife maker anvils.
he probably called it small blue because he really has the big one.
I've been to Josh Howard's shop several times. There's a meeting there tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And this guy is rebuilding, 10-foot tall presses. He's building power hammers. He's building pneumatic. He's building tire hammers. He's making swords. He's making the most beautiful pocket knives. And look where the show launched him. And so and Jason, I'm not leaving you out by any means. I mean, you've got your own brand, that a third party's making for you now. It's just amazing. Here's where here's where I am taken back. And if he's listening, it's okay, because you haven't answered any of my incessant, constant stalking DMs. Trolsky went out in the first round on his show. I was heartbroken. Yeah.
Wow.
And but look who he's become. Look who, I mean, he's
What
internationally
season was
known.
he on?
I don't remember the season or
To be
episode, but he
fair,
was.
he was already known before he went on that.
Oh yeah. Of course. But the guy they opened up Blade Show and he sold out in 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That says a
But
lot.
he left booze on his table for everybody to drink because he sold out. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he broke any international alcohol laws there. But I will tell you, look at what that show's done for so many people, even the judges. So I love the show. I don't think I'm going to binge watch it, but I think I'll go in and watch one here or there. But like I said, Ryan, you lost that episode again, but look what you've won in life. What a wonderful success story. It is. It is.
Well, and
Otis
how
here.
many people are knife makers today because of that show?
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
for sure.
there is more knife makers made from forged in fire than any other reason that people make knives in like the history of knife making.
Yeah, I'm just glad I got into it without watching an episode, and now I have. It's like it's really a good show. I do like it. Otis, are you ready to talk about your thing? Because I'm not going to let you talk about it yet. Jason Fry, when you get done hacking that one up, what you been working on? What you been working on, brother?
Man, I know my boss doesn't listen to this, so I'll say I've been a little slow at work, and so I actually got some more shop time last week than usual. So when you're a consultant and everybody takes off for the holidays, like there's nobody to consult with, right? So I put in a bunch of time on some of my stuff coming up for Blade, Texas. I'll be at table 5K. Y'all just run right over there to table 5K, right? So I'm working on that big one with the border wall stuff. I got that one hardened and ready. I also hardened the arrowhead dagger I've been working on and a couple other blades. The holiday kind of got me in a pickle because I ordered belts, but there were some shipping delays because of Postal Service days off and people wanting to be on vacation at the suppliers.
Oh my gosh.
And so I made it through a 4-day stretch of working in the shop without receiving the belt order ahead of time. And so by the time I was done, I had one 120 grit belt and 4 600 grit belts, both AO, no ceramics left. And that's it. And then a giant pile of used stuff. So
Wow.
I finished some knives because all I had left was finishing belts. Like I entered the weekend without any actual grinding belts, just handle and finish belts, right? So,
well, I think if you run those 600 grit belts at like 5 on your VFD, 5% on your VFD, you can grind a knife out in about 3 months.
Yeah, I could probably do that big Bowie knife with a 600 or two. Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, also
a few months.
My box of belts got here Monday, of course, after the weekend. So I've got a box
Jason,
of fresh stuff.
Isn't it so cool? Isn't it so cool opening that box of belts and just kind of seeing them all different colors and kind of? And I don't know. It's just a nice looking thing, right?
It is, and this time, like I felt like a big kid because I actually got 3 whole layers. Like I had so many belts that I got a triple stack.
A triple stack.
Yeah, like that. But no, so I this weekend coming up. It's supposed to be like 55 or 60 degrees tomorrow after being about 22 or 3 in the morning. But then it's supposed to go below freezing and stay there like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe. So
time to forge.
I'm going to work hard tomorrow in the shop grinding. I've got, let's say I heat treated 4 blades that I didn't have the belts to finish grind. So I did everything I could do. I did my surface ground, my ricassos. I mean, every single thing I could use with what I had, I did. That's part of why I made that little cannon because I was just out of projects, and that one didn't require abrasives. So yeah, this weekend is rough grinding. May end up with a little bit of a roadblock. I haven't decided yet because I've got four good blades to do, and one of them is like super complicated, like grind wise. That dagger that's going to be hollow ground on 4 different edges, right? And then have, I mean, it's a tough grind. I actually laid it out like with Dicam and scribe lines, and like, I'm going to use the work rest and do it all slow because I'm like 8 days into this piece of steel already, right? So I need to not screw it up.
Right.
So there's a part of me that wants to do that, like just get it done because it's fun, it's awesome, it's exciting, it's hard, it's a challenge. But then there's this other rational part of me that thinks, but that blade's not really for Fort Worth. That one's for Atlanta. That's in June. So what I need to do is stay focused on the ones that I'm trying to finish for my show here coming up. That's about 6 weeks out or 5. So
it's getting close.
So yeah, the border wall buoy is going to be the big one. I think if I can stay focused, I can get it finished ground and maybe hand sanded tomorrow in one day. And then I predict 4 days at least worth on fittings and handle. I did something new the other day that I'd never really done before. So Lotus Zero like this because it's kind of ho forgy kind of stuff. So I had this spike, a wrought iron spike, and it was about 10 inches long, real rusty, so only about 3/8 thickness at the thickest, like kind of all uneven thicknesses from being rusty and stuff. And so I forged that kind of out into a longer spike because I'm going to be using it for a D guard on this Bowie knife. But the head of this nail wasn't big enough to use on the guard, right? Like, I mean, on the front at the ricasso, like the rod is big enough for the D guard, right? But I didn't have a thick spot to put up at the front of the knife. And so I got to thinking about it, and there's ways around it. I could layer it, I could stack it, I could put a guard and then put that behind. I mean, there's ways. But what I decided to do was weld it. And so I took another piece of wrought iron and I welded it there to that nail, just forge welded it, so that now I have a thick spot of wrought iron there made out of an old wrought iron rivet and the old wrought iron spike. Both of those are from an Army camp in South Texas that saw some Civil War action all the way through the 20s and 30s. So again, kind of border country artifact knife, but I have never before taken guard material and welded it up to make it thick enough to be a guard. Kind of a more primitive skill, I guess, than a fancy hollow ground dagger, but it's going to be cool. I'm excited about it.
It does sound cool.
Yeah, no,
So I think I need to get a welder. You guys keep talking about welding. Everybody's welding. I need a welder. You got a welder, Mark?
I do.
I got to get a welder.
You should have a welder anyways. Like that is, I'll tell you, one of my favorite tools that I own is a welder. Now he forge welded the thing that he was talking about.
And I'll tell you a secret.
Oh no! I understand.
I forge welded that, but I did tack weld it together, but before I put it in the forge so that I could stick it. But well, I will tell you a secret, Chip. Welding is like a lot of things. You don't have to be good at it to have a good time.
Correct.
Right. I mean, I can stick some stuff together, and it does a lot of good jobs for me in my shop. And I'm a lousy welder. Like my welds look ugly. They look like
I know how.
But
it
holds
to weld
together for what I need it to do. And you don't have to be good at it to make it do the job. Sometimes
Otis Sear fills a lot of cars for bad welds.
Yeah.
Yes,
randomly weld some sheet metal to the bottom of the car.
Otis here. I don't have welder on my resume, though I probably should, because 20 years ago at United Solar, I learned how to weld
you
there.
can put welder on my resume.
I'm sure. But so I can weld, stick weld. So I would say really my thing would just be sticking some rebar on the end of something, or if I get into some Damascus, starting to weld up plates together to be able to do that.
And it doesn't take much of a machine to do that either.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. And probably even welding on screws and stuff onto the back of hidden tangs and stuff if I'm going to screw them on that way.
See,
I don't know.
My biggest thing is I build a lot of frames. So like structures for like what my forge sits on, or like the frame around my forge, the actual thing that holds all the forge together and all that stuff. And that holds the burners on and all that. I love being able to weld whatever I want. All I got to do is go get some square tubing or some angle iron, and if I want to make something, I just cut it up and weld it
There it is.
together,
Good
Yep.
and it's
point.
done.
Good point,
Yep.
because my forge stand on top of my table is an erector set. I went and bought the screws and the erector set steel. So yeah, being able to forge, weld stuff like that would probably be pretty cool. Jason, you were talking about abrasives, and I do want you to know that if you go to phoenixabrasives.com, they offer great service, prices, selection, quality, and quick delivery. They have a complete inventory of belts, discs, rolls, wheels, and anything you need, even sheet stock, to get the job done right. If you enter Templar's 10 at checkouts for 10% off, that's what you're going to get on your next order. You're going to save 10%. And guys, I'll tell you, the knife I'm starting right now, Phoenix sent me a select group of belts and sheets and stuff that I had asked for to make it part of this next build I'm doing. So I'll be evaluating all of their belts. And I will tell you, you see one of their competitors, they sit and take a piece of 1/8 or 3/16 steel, and they're running it into a grinder, and it's just eating that steel away, and that grinder's probably cranked up to 100%. You can do that with any ceramic belt.
For about 4 seconds.
True. But that's all you need. That's all you need for the video, for the advertising.
That's absolutely right.
But what makes the difference is customer service and prompt shipping, and just being a great vendor to us. And Phoenix provides that. That's what I want to talk about. You'll see me
Did they
reviewing
send
their
you
product.
did they send you the purple belts?
They did, and I've got this big giant banner it's going to eat up my whole shop.
I've been using their purple belts, and they're good. I ordered several grits with the purple belts, and those 36s, dude, they last a while. It's just like a Norton belt, and it's very comparable to a Norton. It'll cut for a while. I'll be using 136 grit, and I'm going to be grinding bevels for at least 7 hours tomorrow.
Right.
Wow.
Well, good for you. Well, I'm looking forward to this, but I also want to tell you, if I had their belts, once I get them, I've got the best machine to put them on, and that is an Ameribraid. There you can find them at ameribraid.com, and the owners there, Eric and Kevin, they've developed one of the best grinders on the market. They've got great accessories and tools. They have 3 packages. I think you should go with the Mastery package, because that comes with everything that you need. Just have a good time, then you can add on to it a little bit from there. But trust me, it comes up with a lot of tools to get the job done right. And if you call Ameribraid, you're going to speak with one of the owners there, guaranteeing the best service around. That's not the best part of this conversation. The best part is if you put in Templars 20 at checkout, you're going to get 20% off parts and accessories.
All right.
I always wondered, would it be cheaper to order my Mastery package one part at a time with Templars 20 and then reassemble it all? Well, the thing is, they send it to you 75% assembled anyway. So just buy the Mastery package, and when you get parts and accessories, put in Templars 20 for 20% off at checkouts. So there you go. I'd probably end up with a Johnny Cash Cadillac if I did that, because I couldn't order it all one piece at a time.
One piece at a time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, here we are. Otis, are you ready?
I don't know.
No, you're not ready yet.
I've been waiting for Otis here.
I know he did something beautiful the past week, and he hasn't been back for a while, so we're going to wait. Seriously, would you like you want to go ahead and go?
It's up to you. Your
No.
choice.
I'm not going to let you go yet.
Dealer's choice.
Guys, I want to talk to you about setting handles. I have started making, and I love making hidden tangs. It's more difficult. It's more difficult. It is. It's more difficult because there's extra steps there. And we say it's more difficult. It's really not more difficult. Well, it takes more ability because you don't have the spine to shape your handle profile. You've got to be a little bit more cognizant of how that handle needs to look and where you need to take stuff away. But I have 3 ways, and I'll tell you my favorite for setting handles, and you can give me your input. Go ahead, Osier.
I have a trick.
Okay, I want to hear your trick in just a minute.
Go ahead. I'll tell you later.
Because I want you to tell me what I'm doing wrong. I have learned from making the 3 hidden tangs that I have made. Number 1, you can go in and you can take a what do you call that raspy tool?
A rasp?
Raspy? Oh, like
a
brooch?
A broach. You can take you can drill your holes and then rock back and forth on your bit and then try and get in there that broach and make it all fit, and that's fine. It's one way to do it. It takes a long time and you don't get the perfect fit that I like. I think you can. It just takes time. Then I started making wah type handles where you drill a half-inch hole and you take a half-inch dowel, you subtract the width of your hidden tang, and you sandwich the dowel over your tang, and you slide it into the hole. You drill, put your pin in, and then you glue it up and put it in, and it's there forever. Japanese way of make easy, 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 lemon squeezy peasy. I love it. Now it doesn't work for all handles because some handles have, you may have. Well, number one, you're going to need to put a front plate on your bolster, something to hide that dowel, so it won't be just can't boot a piece of wood up. But and you may have unique bends and curves in your handle where you don't want to get into that dowel. But if you're doing a rather straight handle with not a lot of bends or curves, that Japanese method is just gorgeous. I love it. My favorite way. Notice here, you tell me if I'm wrong or right now. I've got to blue that tang up anyway because I'm going to have to drill through it to set a pin. And I usually will blue that back and blue down the spine just a little bit just to soften up that steel just a tad. But when I heat that up with my torch, I take that handle that's in my vise and I heat set that thing in there and slowly do it, come out, clean it out with a little tiny brush or that broach that I've got. Just kind of get some of the charcoal that I'm making out of there. And you end up with, it fits like a glove. So I'm heat setting and burning that handle down into that wood. Then I drill my pin through, lock it in, set it, and it ain't never coming apart. As a matter of fact, sometimes I have a hard time getting the unglued tang out of the handle. It fits so tight. Notice here, what am I doing wrong?
Absolutely nothing. You're doing everything that you should do depending on the handle that you are working on. The way that I do I would say all of my handles is I would drill the slot as deep as it needs to go. It's a little smaller diameter than the width and the thickness of my tang, right?
Right.
By a hair. And then I would do a burn through, right? And it would just burn enough material to fit that thing snugly in there. There's no wiggle. Like you said, sometimes it's hard to pull the handle out of the knife.
Yeah.
Because it fits in so tight. And that's it. Then you work on your handle, shape it. It takes very little epoxy. What I would do to set my handle in there, I will cut notches on the top and bottom of my tang, and a big notch on the back, right? Put the epoxy in there, set the thing in, clamp it.
Never coming apart.
It ain't never coming apart.
And I do like the look of the domed over pins. When you told me that you were rounding off your pins and putting them in, that allows you to do that at that time. And I will tell you, I love that barely exposed dome pin. Do you have a bit or something?
The one I gave it to you, the one I gave you, right? Yeah. It has a dome pin in it.
It does. It does. Yes. Is there a bit or something you're using to make that dome? I've seen that some people do, or you just round it off on your sander and then just polish it.
No, what you do is you put your pin material on a hand drill.
Oh, gotcha.
400 grit on your, on your belt grinder. Spin the bit, spin the grinder at the same time, and you just little by little, side by side, side to side, you
for sure.
It out. Yeah.
That's actually what I did. I put it in my drill press, and I just kind of rocked it back and forth until it domed it. So I didn't know if you were using some. I've seen where they've got these little peen tools or these little
You
bits that
could.
you can.
Yeah, they make a
You could.
spinner that they use for slip joints for that
Yeah.
function.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
could. You could also make your pin slightly longer
Hmm.
by a hair, a mil in each side, and then you can pin it if you want.
That's the way I do my dome pins.
Yeah.
I cut
So
them
I mean,
slightly long, and I'll still polish them and round them off so that my material
mm-hmm.
is even and
Yeah.
uniform. But I'll use a
Yeah.
2-ounce hammer and lots of tiny taps, and then I'll switch
But
over
since
to
that,
a
yeah, but
330
since
seconds
that pin,
punch
yeah,
even.
yeah,
Yeah.
but since that pin is not really gonna hold anything, right? It's there just as to
It
look
just lock.
good.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
it goes through the
It'll
knife, so
help.
it's
It'll help,
locking the.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It'll help because that epoxy is not gonna let go for one, right? And you know, if you want to pin it, great. I pinned it a couple, but most of them is just straight through. You cut some notches on that pin, put the epoxy in there, push it in, measure
yeah.
on both sides so you're even as possible,
Mm-hmm.
on both sides, and that's it.
Right. Well, I will tell
That is
you,
it.
I love it. I love it. That is my favorite way to do hidden tang handles. And yeah, Jason.
While we're on that, so again, there's as many ways to do this as there are knife makers, but I've kind of taken an approach that's a little different than what both of y'all said on my hidden tangs. I do them a lot, quite a bit. Um, what I've started doing on my hunters and buoys, if my handle is 0.7 or zero point 0.9, 3/4 of an inch wide, and I know my tang is a quarter or 3/8, right? I'll actually kind of hybrid both those methods. So I have, instead of drilling, let's see if I can explain this. Instead of drilling the front of the hole and the back of the hole and using the bit to waller out in between to make your slot, I mean, I did it that way for a long time. What I have started doing is drilling a 3/8 hole dead center, right?
Yeah,
Because the skinny end of my tang is going to be about that anyway. So then I don't
yeah,
have to
that works
fight the
too.
back of the hole.
Hmm.
And then also my broach fits right in there all the way back. And so then I cut the slots. I notch the tang on the bottom and the top of that hole.
I have
So
an easier
I
way to
still
do
get a
that.
tight fit, but it's a jillion times faster than
I
trying to
have an
waller
easier
out
way
that
to do
hole.
that.
Oh yeah,
How's
what you
that?
got?
A faster way to do that, you drill that same hole. Let's say your tang height is about let's say 11 mils, right? Working mils, millimeters.
Yeah.
So it's 11 millimeters high. That's the height of your tang. You grab let's say an 8.5 mil bit, drill all the way, and then you heat up your tang and just push it in one time. Boop, that little
Mm-hmm.
heat is gonna cut perfect notches top and bottom of that hole every time. It's super
Mm-hmm.
tight, super tight.
Yep. I say lots of
Same
ways
thing as
to.
if you were using a brooch, but I think it's faster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably is. Probably
Have you
is.
have you guys tried that dowel Japanese method before?
I've seen it, but no.
It's cool.
Same. I've seen it, haven't tried. Again, that's
I've
kind of
got
how
it.
I adopted the big hole and then cut notches approach.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
from
I
that.
like a
But
big hole myself.
Yeah, try it because it was just phenomenal. How easy that made setting the, especially if you're doing a culinary knife, makes it real easy to set those
I
handles.
yeah,
guess the style of the handle and the way you set your tank has a lot to do with the knife that you're making.
Oh yeah,
hmm
yeah, yeah.
If you're going like a Japanese style, you're probably not gonna have a tank that is 15 mils or
yeah, and your blade's not going to be 3/8 thick, or
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
it's gonna
mean,
be smaller.
you're gonna have to adapt,
Oh
and
yes,
you're not
yes,
gonna
yes.
be able to probably put a shoulder into that tank, all the way around, like
Right.
the way I like to do it. So it's gonna be just the top and bottom shoulders, right?
Well,
Hmm?
and on a lot of those, like the wall style ones, there are no shoulders.
Yeah.
You just
hmm
do that
that's right.
dowel, and then your handle comes all the way up, and you'll actually see the dowel on the
Mm-hmm.
front of a
hmm
lot of
Mm-hmm.
them. So they don't try and hide it. It's just
So if you're gonna do that,
that's the style. There's not that they're not trying to hide it. That's the
it's just the
style.
style. Yep.
Yeah, it's just how it is.
if you're gonna have the dowel show, you need to choose a handle material dowel. If you're not, you just need to make a multi um, another piece of wood or a piece of metal up front to face that at the bolster, where it goes in that where it covers the dowel.
They'll do a contrasting color. So they'll do a lighter color wood dowel and a darker handle. Like I said, they literally do not try and hide it.
Looks good.
It's a feature, not a bug. Yeah, for sure.
It looks good. Yeah. What I like about the dowel technique is that that dowel will squeeze the tank real tight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not gonna have any gapping like I've seen on the different blades, different Japanese style blades where the tank goes into the handle. When you look closer, there's a gap in there around that tank.
Yeah.
For me, it's personal issue. I don't like it. I like to have that tank handle connection really tight, no gapping.
Yeah.
And I think that dowel will eliminate that little wiggle or play
It's
or gapping, right?
It's interesting you said that because when I was looking to make that style handle, I was looking at a lot of Japanese knives and I was looking at really a lot of how rustic a lot of their high priced preferred knives are. Just the gaps. I don't mean gaps such as, it's part of the design. Yeah. I mean, there's gaps. You can see certain elements of it that, we would say in our world, well, it's really not finished. But this is a highly prized, functional, high carbon steel knife that some chef is just tickled to death to have, or someone in their house. It's even like those tuna knives I made. The ones that come from Asia are as ugly and as plain as you ever see, but they're cutting up, $10,000 fish. They're doing a wonderful job.
Whenever you see the ones that are completely sharpened by stone, so that whole bevel, that they have, that whole finish that's on there is pure stone finish.
It's by hand with rocks.
All of it.
Yeah.
Yes. And so you're sitting there going, wow, I'm so used to polishing all this stuff. And they're sitting there and they're wet stoning everything, the entire bevel.
It's amazing. And that takes me to one other thing. I sat and watched several months ago, but I watched it again this week just because I was hoping Josh Ferran would be on here tonight because he did some bloom steel this week, and that's something I want to do. So now I've got a friend that does it, where he was taking steel from the battleship Texas and mixing it with carbon and the steel and put it in his furnace and let it break down into a bloom, then pulled it out and he hammered it out into two functional pieces of steel. And I actually watched a gentleman in Africa do it in a village, and how he was picking the little steel pellets that had out of the bloom after it was done and combining those in some crucible he made out of clay that he put back in there and hammered into something that turned into a hoe for a garden, which was a very useful tool for them. But the whole concept was the same, other than the guy that was in Africa had these two bellows. It looked like soft, about the size of a basketball, going up and down for 12 hours. Yeah, that takes some time.
That's a workout right there.
Yeah, but watch it. If you check out some of the Japanese bloom steel and watch them make these, there's some wonderful videos. Matter of fact, there's a husband.
Yeah, Tamahagane, right?
Yeah, there's a husband. There's a husband and wife team in one of the videos that's making them. And I want to.
That one was the Asian one, right?
Yeah.
I watched that video. It's awesome.
That is so cool. Yeah, and they go in and they build that furnace, and then they run it all day, and then it comes out.
And then they break it out.
Yeah, and he's beating that stuff by hand. I mean, realize so many of the Asian people, they do use power tools, but traditionally, all this stuff was beat out by hand and 2 or 3 guys hammering. So if I want to get into that, and I think most of you would agree, you really do need a hydraulic press or something to press that steel out.
Yeah, so they have a power hammer in that video, but whenever you look at the way that their shops are set up, you have us, and we're trying to get out of our shed, and we're trying to get into like a 4,000 square foot shop or something like that. We want these huge shops, and you watch those videos of them doing their knife making, and the person's just standing there in like a pit, and you got the coal forge here to the left of them. Yeah. They have the water tanks that they have for quenching and
Yeah.
cooling and stuff like that for their tools. And then
There's a
just to the right
pot
of them, they'll have like a power hammer
and a
and
pile of coal next to the
and a
forge.
pile of coal, and you're
Mm-hmm.
sitting there, and they're in like an 11 by 11.
And the
Yeah.
reason they're in a pit is because their family has been in that spot for over 100 years, and
Yeah,
they've
it's
just
just slowly
worn
worked
that
it
pit
down.
into the ground.
Yeah,
It's
Got a spot about as big as a 5-gallon bucket, and that's the only
yeah.
place they stand. Yeah.
I
yeah.
think there's a. I don't know if it's on Instagram or YouTube or what, but I think Trolsky went over to Asia, might have been Japan, and met with some blacksmiths there and did some stuff this past fall, I believe. You can look that up. But man, what a blessing that would be to be able to do that. It sure would. That brings me to, if you had to travel somewhere to look into making steel, Mark, would you choose Canada? Of course you
Yeah,
would.
I think that I think that'd be a great place to choose.
I think you would probably go there because Lawrence is going to take that all out of your hands at Maritime Knife Supply. You can find them at maritimenifesupply.ca. That .ca is for Canada, maritimenifesupply.ca. And you get great
.ca.
.ca. You get great products and service in Canada and internationally. Check out Maritime for great deals and service. Got a lot of people running on that 1080 hex steel he's got right now, and I just made a culinary knife out of it, guys, and it moved like butter. It hardened like diamond, and it turned into a beautiful knife. So you can buy that, handle materials, ovens, TR Maker products, and just about everything at Maritime Knife Supply. He's a great supporter of our community, knife maker community. So please make sure you're purchasing from him. And get one more in tonight. Housemade. Our buddy Brian Houseward over at housemade.us. Housemade.us isn't for Uzbekistan, it's just the USA. Housemade.us. They've got his 2x72 grinders, forges, and build plans. Housemade Industrial. You can also check out the Apollo Forge and while you're at it, buy yourself a 2x72 Revolution grinder. Get yourself a set of plans, cut out that steel, and build it yourself. If you don't have ability to cut out the steel, I think he can sell you the parts. Build yourself a grinder. There's a lot of people very tickled to have a Apollo Forge with the ribbon burner in it and also the Revolution 2x72 grinder. Brian Housework is another visionary in our industry. That's housemade.us. Otis here, I guess we don't have enough time to get into what you've been doing the last 3 weeks and the knife you
It's
made.
all
So,
right. There's always next time.
well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that we just ran out of. So, guys, what do you say?
Hasta la vista, baby.
Good night. Good night.
Yeah. Yep.
Oinky, oinky,
oinky.
All right, Otis here. Now's your time. This isn't even the post show. I was just being a smart aleck. Man, I can't wait to hear you talk about this because, man, you've just stepped into a different era with Otis here Pinto blades. So, tell us about it.
Yeah, man. So, beginning of the year, new year, new skills, right? Let me go back in time a bit. The last week, no, the week before Christmas, I was talking to Mr. Rivers, and we were discussing Damascus by hand, since I don't have a press or a power hammer. So, he gave me the idea of going ahead and trying to do some low layer Damascus, maybe 9 or 10 layers. So I went ahead and I ordered me some 15 and 20. I already had some 80 CRV2, and I built me some stacks. I made two stacks of 2 by 2 square, 2 inches by 2 inches, and that is gonna come into play later. Um, Forge welded it just like Eric recommended. I went into my quenching tank, left it sitting in there, right? soaking up some of them juices, and into the forge you went, and came out a successful forge weld, right?
Did you did
My billets were too big.
Mm-hmm.
My billets were too big.
Took a long
Was
time to work them down, huh?
Yep, takes a long time to work them down,
Mm-hmm.
and I wound up having to cut one of my billets in half so I could forge that knife I presented it yesterday, right? So it came out all right. It's I'm really happy with the results. It's only 10 layers. It was an inch and a quarter thick when I started, and I was able to forge it down to just over a quarter inch thick, right? So 10 layers squished all the way down to a quarter inch, and I pulled a 4.5 inch blade right out of that little half of one stack. So yeah, it was something, man. It was something. I thought it was gonna take longer. So it didn't take as long as I expected it to take, but it wasn't as easy as I was hoping it to be. So it was a learning experience right there. I'm really happy that I did it the way I did. Um, yeah, yeah, it was something else. It was something else. I'm really happy. I'm really pleased with the results. I just posted some pictures on the Rivers Experience and on my own Facebook page, and also on Reddit and a couple of different places. So if y'all want to see it, go ahead and check it out.
Yeah, it
So
came out
you
great.
know,
To see her,
It's a beautiful knife.
that's
Yeah, it looks
it
good.
really looked nice.
yeah. So Mr.
I love
Rivers
that
there
handle
gave me
material
some
too.
some ideas. It's the problem that I was facing prior to starting, that forging section there, is that I didn't want to mess with flux, right? And talking to a different with another knife maker I met, he said, "Oh, I use WD-40
Mm.
in between my layers before I go into the forge, so I can do my forge welding." And well, once it's forge welded, you just forging like a normal high carbon steel, so you don't have to be applying that, powder to it to prevent any delamination or something. As long as your forge weld sticks together really nice, that's it. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I went into my quenching tank, you know, left it soaking for about 10 minutes on pinto sauce, and from there, everything, thank God, worked all right.
Mm-hmm.
Super pumped. Extremely happy. I can't say enough. It's very satisfying. You have no
h-
idea.
how long did it take you to beat that initial forge weld down?
The forge weld was quick. It took me 3 heats to make sure that it was completely welded up.
What was the color of the steel?
Yellow.
Yellow. Okay,
Yeah, bright yellow.
gotcha.
Yep, yeah, bright yellow.
Yellow and steaming.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
I made sure to leave it in there for about 25, almost 30 minutes to make sure that all the layers were on that appropriate temperature before I took it out and started beating on it.
Mm-hmm.
5 hammer strikes on each side back into the forge. I had 2 billets, so if you're gonna do it, might as well do 2 billets.
How heavy was your
Yep.
hammer?
I had a 2.5 pounder flat hammer. Yep, yep, yep. Now, what Mr. Rivers failed to tell me was, here it is. Here's my complaint. What Mr. Rivers failed to tell me was, buy some inch wide steel. I had that monster 2 inch wide steel. And I'm gonna tell you, man, stretching those things out is a task by hand,
Mm-hmm.
man. It's a task.
Yep.
It's a
So you were
It
task.
two
So
is.
inches 2 inches wide by how tall?
inch and a quarter.
Inch and a quarter.
So
But
ten
That's
well,
a
he
layers
was
of 8 inch thick. So inch and a quarter.
but he was 2 inches by 2 inches by
Yeah,
inch and a
yeah. I
quarter.
had 2 inches by 2 inches by inch and a quarter.
So
Oh, okay.
you could have made a cleaver.
Oh yeah. Oh, I could have made
Yeah.
his vine hander for sure.
So what he's saying for people that are wondering, instead of doing a 2 inch by 2 inch square, he could have done 2 inch by 1 inch by whatever. You didn't need to do the 2 inch by 2 inch square, right? Because you ended up
Mm-hmm.
cutting it in half anyways.
I had to cut
And
it in half. I had to cut it
yeah,
in half. It was too much
Double the
steel. I
amount of
couldn't.
drawing that you had to do. Yeah.
Yep.
yep.
Well, I wanted to make a big old buoy like I like to make, right? Halfway through the forging process, I said, you know what? I would be happy with a chipper. I would be happy with the chipper.
A
So
little wee,
I
a
cut
little
that
wee
thing in
knife.
half. I cut that thing in half. I'm glad I did it. I had enough material from the same billet to make the guard,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that is important too. So you gotta have matching stock. Yeah. So, and I have enough now that I can make another one. And then I'm gonna have to downsize my billet. So this year, 2024, I'm gonna be forging way more than I did before, and I'm actually thinking about buying a little press just like Joey's.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
nice
that's
what he's got. Mhm.
I'm going to get a Coal Iron Works press later on this year. That's my
Yeah,
next
he.
purchase.
I spoke to him earlier today. He got a 12 ton. He enjoys it. It's about 3 grand, just a little over 3 grand. So
Right,
I'm probably
$3,200.
yeah, something like that, 32, 33 ish.
I actually bought
Plus a couple of
James Batson's
dice.
book this week too, so I'm gonna kind of start collecting crap to build a press.
Yeah,
Oh,
Good for
all
you.
right.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you going to go to Batson's this April at Tannehill State Park in Alabama?
I would if I was closer to Alabama. It's like a 2-day drive.
Man.
When is that? When is
but
that again, Chip?
It's going to be in April, but I tell you what, if you guys get a plane ticket, I'll pick you up and cart you around the whole time,
So you'll
and
see the
I'll even
pictures I
put you
posted,
up.
but there it is.
So Otis here is showing us his 10-layer Damascus forge welded and
Look at
forge
that
welded
guard.
guard
pretty.
with and people can see this most gorgeous knife on Instagram and
The Rivers experience.
Facebook. And I will tell you, I have actually seen a lot of people sharing this post. It's such a beautiful knife, Otis here. When people start sharing things like that, you've you made a difference.
You're getting there. Yep, that's right.
Yep.
Hey, Otis, sir, do you slightly round the spine on your knives, or is that squared off completely? It looks like it's rounded a little bit.
No, some is rounded. When I round it, I will put
couldn't
the little
see.
jimping in there. So this one is squared.
It's squared. Okay, you were just moving it too quick.
Otis here, if you go on Forged in Fire, will you wear a Jaguar skin and carry the Jaguar death whistle and blow for each time you
Probably be
win?
wearing just a little loincloth. That's it.
And maybe your Knives Templars shirt.
Yeah,
There you
man. A loincloth and a Knives
There you go.
Templar shirt.
Man,
Yeah.
I tell you what, there's not an untalented guy that I'm looking at on the screen right now. You guys are so wonderful, and I will tell you that I've got flat stock, and guys, I love flat stock. But I tell you what, it is so fun to sit. There's so rewarding to hammer out that knife, and I'm on the verge of doing what you did, Otis. Here, I just got to get a welder, get somebody to weld me up some steel to.
I mean, run up to a mechanic shop with your stacks already clamped.
Oh yeah,
and have somebody weld the corners, weld a little stub at one end so you can hold it with the tongs.
It'd be much nicer to run to Harbor Freight and just buy a little shop welder to do that.
I'm looking at one on Amazon. Right, it's a itty bitty one.
$140
review. I've seen a review. Some professional welder using it on YouTube, and he was testing different settings and power ratings.
Is that $140 pistol grip welder?
No.
Oh,
this
okay.
one is like $67.
Oh wow!
Little welder.
But is it the pistol grip?
No, it's but with the rod.
Well, it's got a rod that goes in it. I've seen one out there like $140, and I've actually had welders say, well, they wouldn't weld with them professionally, but for working around the house, they're actually pretty good. You know what I'm talking about, Eric?
Yep, I've seen it. It's like $67.
If you
and
can go to Harbor Freight,
the best thing for me on that little welder is a 120 volt. 110. Yeah,
Yeah,
110.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
require a special
So
plug.
you can go to Harbor Freight and get a wire feed 110 welder for pretty cheap. I mean, my little welder that I use for most of the stuff that's argonless or gasless
Flux core.
is yep, and I use that for welding a bunch of stuff. I've got one that uses gas and all of that stuff, which makes way cleaner welds and has way less spatter and all that stuff. But that little 110 one, you can do pretty much anything you want. But I would get a wired welder as opposed to a arc with the
A
stick
stick
and all
welder.
that.
So get a wire
Yeah.
welder instead. That's cool because
Well,
I've got so much leftover wire from my fishing lure days because I would buy wire and use that to run through my lures to hang hooks. No. It's
you would buy
welding
welding
wire.
wire? Okay.
I bought welding wire to do all the internal wiring through fishing lures that goes from the hook tie is or where the line tie is to the last hook on the back. It just kind of weaves through. Yeah.
Yep.
And so I've got several spools of that still. So
so that's the idea. Getting me a little stick welder, about $67 on Amazon. I've seen enough reviews on it that is gives me a confidence that I can use it and not, regret
Yeah.
it.
The reason why I like the wire feed is you can adjust the speed and you can adjust a lot of stuff with it. It's a little bit more user friendly than the stick ones. The wire feed is because you'll find moments whenever you're going with the stick and get stuck, you got to wiggle it off, and you go back in, get it stuck, got to wiggle it off because you might not have the
You gotta
settings
increase
set
your
right.
amps. That's all.
Yeah, and but they also will blow through thinner material way easier than a wire feed will. So let's say you're trying to do 15 and 20 that is like saw blade 15 and 20, and you're sitting there and you're welding the edges up. You'll melt into it super fast, and you'll have too much weld metal inside the actual billet that you have to grind off later. So you don't have that on your billet, as opposed to being able to stack them up and get a nice thin weld and stuff like that. There's just things to think about. But I'll tell you right now, either way you go, you're going to love having a welder.
So Chicago Electric at Harbor Freight's got a $99 flux welder. I guess that's wire feed.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And then they've got a $149 125 amp, same 125. It's called titanium, and it's $149. And probably for all I would want to do is just connect that. Maybe, like you said, Eric, build some small framework in this, that, and the other. That would probably do a lot of that without any issues.
Well, you have 220 right in your shop, in your garage.
I do. I do.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. It's always, depending on how thick the metal you're gonna weld is. It's always nice to have a welder that can, have a little more.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, if I could have just whatever welder I could, and I could justify it, I would probably jump on the same make model that I have in the mechanic shop, a little snap-on with the argon and everything, the whole the whole shebang in there. That thing is awesome. You can weld.
Lincoln Electric.
A snap-on welder. Holy,
get a Lincoln.
You
financed for 30 years.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I've got a little 220 volt Lincoln that they sell at Home Depot.
And, that thing can weld everything.
It does everything I need it to do.
What do those run in, Jason?
I bought mine on the used market, but it seems like they're $600.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah,
well, if you want to get,
since I'm on a budget, I'm probably going to grab that Amazon one.
Yeah, I do understand you do get what you pay for. Sometimes it's just fun to play. I think Chris Jones famously said, buy once, cry once. But sometimes it's you gotta buy and make sure you're into it before you go up. But you're talking about, hey, we got to heat that steel. And if you're going to heat that steel, guys, you need to go to majesticforge.com. They manufacture gas forges ranging from 2 to 5 burners and with many different forges to choose from. We are sure at the Knives Templars that you're going to find a Majestic Forge to suit your needs. And go out and see them today. They're the same ones they used on Forged in Fire. And my last one to get in tonight is the best, the Rivers Experience. The Rivers Experience.
Oh, my.
Yes, sir. Let our very own Eric Rivers from the Rivers Experience teach you the finer arts of knife making at the Rivers Experience on YouTube with Knife Talk Tuesday on every Wednesday night. And wait. Knife Talk Tuesday every Tuesday. And the TRE workshop on Facebook. Join in the fun with that community as well, because you'll find there's no pointing fingers. There's no judging. It's kind of like Planet
You
Fitness.
got the name wrong.
What did I say? The Rivers Experience and TRE
You
workshop.
said Knife Talk Tuesday, no, my friend. It's Shop Talk Tuesday.
No, knife-maker.com.
No. You said Knife Talk Tuesday. It's Shop Talk Tuesday.
No, it's knife-maker.com, who will also tell you that they learned a lot of the things that they learned at knife-maker.com at Shop Talk Tuesday on the Rivers Experience. Now Eric's smiling. He sure looked sad before you corrected that. Screwed that one up again tonight. Hey, but I finished my margarita. I get a break. But on a serious note, guys, you'll never meet a nicer soul in the world of knife making. It's Eric Rivers, our very own. He's a good friend of mine, a good friend of this team, and a good friend of the knife making community. And we love him. So visit him at the Rivers Experience on the internet. Visit him at the Rivers Experience on YouTube, and visit him at TRE Workshop and interact with many more makers at TRE Workshop on Facebook. Did I finish up strong there?
You did. Yep. Did we ever get lazyknifemaker.com nailed down?
We just know that that's Otis Sears. I've reserved it for him.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Jason, you got a tip for us, baby?
I can.
And he's reaching for the
tip
book.
Is always be prepared. No, I don't recall this being in the. I know it's in the book, and I haven't looked it up, but I'll tell a little story on myself. There's a fairly well-known adage called "measure twice, cut once." Right?
Ooh,
yes.
My book is lots of wisdom that I stole from other people, just like that. And I know that's in there specifically talking about mammoth ivory, right? If you drop $100 or $200 on scales, measure them twice, right? Because if you mess them up, they're really a mess, right? 3 times, 4 times, 11 times, measure them a lot. But the reason I thought of that is because my first knife making task of 2024, like New Year's Day, right? The knife I'm working on, is a Bowie knife, and it is an order, and it was late, of course, and so I was trying to get it done, and I milled a guard out of unobtainium, so out of some special steel from someplace crazy, and granted, it was an inch square by 2 inches long. It was a little piece of steel, but and I milled the slot, got it fit all tight and perfect how I wanted. And then I chucked it in the mill I use my mill sometimes to cut, I guess what I'll call the lugs, right? To thin the guard out so that it's thicker on the handle and thin at the ends, right? So I had my nicely fitted guard of unobtainium, and I milled the lugs and got over to the knife, and I milled the lugs on the wrong side. So I built a backwards guard on as my first knife making task of 2024. So today's tip that is also available in Knife Making Hacks, my book that you can find on my website, frycustomknives.com.
For a signed copy.
Yep, that's right. You can get signed copy straight from me.
Would you put
to a Blade Show? Huh?
Yeah, I'll bring a few to Blade Show for sure.
Would you put like to my best friend Odyssey, or to my best friend Bill Clinton, or anybody who buys one from you?
I will write almost anything that people request. Yes, as long as it's not profane or something like that. So,
that's excellent.
Yeah, sure.
That's excellent.
Sure. No. So that tip is in my book. I didn't look it up because always be prepared should have been in there, and it wasn't.
I have a tip too.
But that is a real that's in there. Measure twice, cut once.
It is, and it's a wonderful book, and it sits in my shop. And when I'm waiting for steel to normalize or whatever, I always pull it out during those waiting times. Just kind of peruse through it. Otis, here, you said that you're not eating nails and crapping barbed wire, though, right?
No, not today.
Okay.
I'm pretty chill.
Okay, so go ahead and let us know that tip because I'm wanting to end this podcast on a positive note for this episode. So go for it, baby.
Okay, so I've learned a couple of things, right? During this last knife. Number one is just take your time, right? Take your time when you're doing the thing. Uh, if it is getting too difficult, like I encountered that bit of difficulty with those larger billets, right? Just take a step back, look it up, think it over, try to find some solution there that doesn't involve quitting completely.
Or cursing
And
Eric.
that too, that works. And when you get tired, just put it down, go home, come back tomorrow, fresh eyes, fresh mind, start over, right? Pick up where you left off. I was watching that gentleman whom you spit a knife
Oh,
at the
Roy.
show.
Yeah. I will be.
And
I will be. We've got branded spit masks, the ones they use like for the police. I'll be
yeah,
passing out spit masks that we'll wear
yeah.
this year. Last year it was a t-shirts. This year it's spit masks.
And I was watching one of his builds, and he made this huge sword, this huge long sword, and it took him I think over 4 months to build that sword, right? The forging alone was over 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Forging the Damascus was over 2 weeks, and he's got all the good tools, man. A monster press, he got band saws, big oven, everything, all the tools that you can want. He's got it, right?
He's got
And the forge,
Sharpies. He's even
yeah,
got Sharpies.
even Sharpies, and the forging alone was 2 weeks, right? So I mean, just keep working, just keep at it.
I think most good knife makers know when to stop for the day or the evening or go to lunch or something, because if you keep going, it's only going to get worse. So that's an
Yeah,
excellent tip.
I've made that mistake
definitely.
before where I gotta finish. I want to see it done, and
Yeah. Mark made a good comment on one episode. He was like, I kept chasing that grind.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
To the point. Yeah. So sometimes you just need to step back. I'm guilty of that too sometimes.
I traced it right into the scrap pile.
Yep.
Yeah, I did. I've done that. I've done that.
I damaged handle materials which are not cheap, right? And I couldn't use it. I had to scrap a couple of blocks.
Yeah, I had to throw away. I thought throw away a piece of Oleg's wood one time, and actually, I didn't have to throw it away. I was able to save it for making a multi. What do you call it, Eric? When you use more than one piece of wood?
Segmented.
Segmented.
A segmented. That's what I was a segmented scale. So I was able to save it, but it didn't go in the project. So.
And the next thing too, right? The more you do something, the more efficient you become. You get faster. I just sent a picture to a guy I know, and you finished that knife real quick. It's not that I finished really quick. It's just certain movements that you used to make. You had to think 2 or 3 times before you hit that knife on a grinder. Now it's just second nature. The more you do it, the faster you become. So.
What I found too is that like paying attention to yourself, and when you start to get tired, is a little variable. So I can tell. I've done this long enough now. I can tell when I walk up to the grinder and I start grinding and it's not right.
Yeah,
I stop grinding.
Yeah.
Right. And that doesn't mean I go in the house. I mean, I can hand sand. I can do. I mean, there's tons and tons of tasks. Right. But I've learned, at least for me, that that finish grinding, I got to be sharp. Like, so I got tomorrow morning, I'll get up, drink as much coffee as I can tolerate, wait till it's as warm as possible, which is not going to be warm. And then I'm going to go outside and immediately spend my first freshest hour grinding and dialing in the grind on that major project.
Yeah.
Like I say, you can work all night if you want, but there's pieces of it that you've got to learn.
I was going to finish that knife on Tuesday, right? The problem with Tuesday, we had so much rain in Maryland that all my tools got wet, even inside the shed, even inside my little shed there, due to the amount of humidity.
Would you take a picture of this shed and send it to us sometime? Because I
will not. It's a beautiful shed. It looks like a hole on the ground.
My point is that you make such beautiful knives. I have to see what this shed looks like.
Okay, I'll do that.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I already seen mine. So
the humidity was so high that all my metal tools were literally wet. So I said, you know what? Leave it alone. Put it down. Let me go home. Have some soup. Take a shower. Forget it. Right. So I finished it on Wednesday. And posted it yesterday. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad you were drinking your.
Just take your time and know when to stop. That's it.
Yep.
Glad you were drinking your soupy Guadalupe because you got to know when to drink the soup.
I came home and I had some of this to warm up my belly.
Hey,
screwball. Yeah. So we're going to finish this off with a few other Templars tips tonight. Eric, give us a Templars tip, a quick one.
Yeah, just like they said, take your time, but
watch the
show. Yeah. Watch the Rivers Experience YouTube. But no, so a big one for me is just like they were saying with taking your time and understand when it's time to take a step back and go slow. Those are absolutely huge tips, and being able to understand. This is going to be a big one for people who are trying to get into grinding and freehand grinding and stuff like that. You don't have to use a lot of pressure. If you're using a 36 grit belt, the belt will do its job. If you're using a 80 grit belt, the belt will do its job. Pick the right belt for the process that you're trying to do at that moment. And light pressure, just get into doing it, get into your groove. And if you start getting out of your groove or you start getting unfocused and paying attention to other stuff, stop grinding. Because you are going to cause an issue that you're going to try and chase, just like Mark was saying, you might chase it to the scrap bin. If you just take your time, and as soon as you start getting to that moment where you're trying to focus on other stuff, go focus on other stuff. Stop grinding, because stock removal is a crucial part of knife making if you're trying to make things beautiful, nice, and crisp. And if you don't focus on that, you're going to absolutely mess something up. You're going to kick yourself in the butt later.
Mm-hmm.
VMAX, give us a Templar's tip.
All right. Well, my Templar's tip will be that no matter how short a period of time, so something if you are going to just do one quick touch up, put your safety gear on for the one quick touch up, right? Because that is the 1 second that you don't put it on is the time something's going to fling out and embed in your eye. So, recommend that, hey, there's been some times in the shop where I'm like, hey, I just had to do something. It was going to take me 2 minutes just to do a quick, grind over, and then I was going to get back to doing something else. But I stopped, put on some gear real quick, especially eye protection, and got to it, and then took it back off. So my tip is it takes a second to put it on, but it'd be a lifetime without an eye. So that's my Templar's tip.
Great tip. Hey, before I give you my tip, I just want everybody to know that any questions or comments, product reviews, show and guest ideas, subscribe and email us at theknivestemplars@yahoo.com. We enjoy your email, or DM us on Facebook in the Knives Templars podcast group. Visit us at knivestemplars.com to stay up to date. This episode was sponsored by the Rivers Experience, Redeem Steel, knife-wood.com, Ameribraid, and that Templars 20 discount at checkout for parts and accessories, Majestic Forge, Byford's Guns out of Hartselle, Alabama, Pop's Knife Supplies, Maritime Knife Supply. House Made, Phoenix Abrasives, and their Templars 10 at checkout for 10% off your order. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Anchor, Amazon, and CastBox. A list of resources, suggested materials, and social media handles would be at Knives Templars Podcast on Facebook. Again, Knives Templars at Yahoo. Guys, what do you say? What time is it?
Bedtime.
Time to say goodnight.
Yeah.
What's time for the monkey?
Good night. Good night.
Oh,
good
yeah,
night.
we gotta have the monkey.
And I will say,
it's the pig.
Yes, that's right. Good night. There'll be a monkey and a pig. But guys, I'm going to leave you with this quick Templars tip. I know this from experience. Never forge in a thong Speedo and a tank top and Crocs. Listening to REO Speedwagon.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Brought to you by Porkhouse Productions. Oinky, oinky, oinky.
The post show. There you go.
All right.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Never forge in a Speedo, guys.
I want to start the post show with a question from Mr. Fry.
Uh-oh. What you got?
Oh.
All right.
No. It's something simple. Since you are the president there with the, what's it called? The American...
So I was president of the Texas Knife Makers Guild for a while.
Yeah. Okay, so what about the
I'm on the board of the National Knife Makers Guild.
All right, cool. So what is the criteria there to be a member, to get in? I mean,
right. So
talk me through.
Let me see if I can articulate that well this late in the evening. So
take a shot, have some coffee.
Right. So the basics of the guild inspections are to get to a professional level of fit and finish. Right. So I'll act as if you had not a bunch of experience. Right. So if you're just, we don't know you, you walk up and say, hey, how you like my knives? Right. And we look at 4 knives and they're pretty good. Like you're almost there. Right. Or they're good and you're really almost there. We can do a process where you have to get endorsements from either a member of the technical committee. So like there's a few of us that they've decided can say, yep, you're good enough. If you're not at a place where one of us is, then you can do it with endorsements from 4 guild members. So find 4 other members to say, yep, looks good. Right. So you have to have that initial approval to get to an inspection to become a probationary member. Okay. So then again, you bring us in a number of knives. We look at them and give you feedback. If they're acceptable, then the next year you have to do another set of inspections to become a voting member. So it's a 3 inspection process. There are a few exceptions, but that's the gist of it. Now,
4 knives?
I think so. That's a detail I don't want to be held to. I think it's 4. I think it's 4. I don't think it's 5.
Yeah.
But
come in a blade show in June.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring my 4 knives for inspection.
Good. We can certainly get you connected to the right people to get through that process. And again, our goal is to sort of certify professional knife makers, right? To say, man, this guy's good. Period. This guy makes a professional quality knife. It's not a license like a registered nurse, but it's sort of like that, right? It's an endorsement that this guy has been through a difficult and challenging inspection process and makes a quality knife. We don't require forging. That's where I was going.
Any kind of knife?
Any kind of knives. We don't require any particular kind of construction. We don't require one of these and one of those, right? It's just bring us 4 of your work. So we've got guys that all they do is slip joints, they're in the guild. We've got guys that all they do is chef knives. So they're in. We've got, we've actually got Master Smith reciprocity in our direction anyway. So we will accept a Master Smith as a member without making them jump through extra hoops because they have proven their ability through another certification system. So yeah, I mean that's the gist of it.
Just by looking at the pictures of my work, what do you think?
You need to spend 10 more minutes on all of those knives.
From the pictures, they look good.
The pictures alone, right?
But everybody knows that it's easy to make pictures look good on the internet, right? Because the details that we're looking for, you'd almost have to take unusual pictures to be able to see the details. Because
if you see his knives up in close, and you look at the fact that there is no gaps anywhere, no J hooks, no anything, and you could like cut yourself on his Ricassos, it is crazy. And I made him show his knives
just from
to as
knowing
many
you over
as possible.
So from knowing your work over time and who you associate with, probably so. Would I say that from the pictures? No, I sure wouldn't commit.
I really want to take this a bit more serious than I had so far, and that's why I joined the ABS last year, and looking forward to getting more exposure. Right, I want to take this for to another level.
I think it's worth it just for the quality of feedback that you get. I mean, granted, the internet has kind of changed, and you can ping Jerry Fisk and he might answer you or whatever, right? But to have a structured opportunity is to sit in front of qualified makers and say, "What do you think about this?" No, really, tell me. I don't want to hear it's a good knife. Tell me what I can fix. Tell me what I can improve, right? And get genuine feedback.
If nothing else, that's why I want to go to a Blade Show coming up in June.
Yep, definitely.
And even if somebody didn't want to, get certified or anything, right? Like I thought there was like a class or a section that you can go in and folks can go in there and then they'll critique your knife or something.
Blade University did a knife critique panel
last year,
kind of a deal. Like you could sign up to have your knife destroyed like that if you wanted to.
And you could also just go up. You could bring a few of them to Blade Show and have a few of the mastersmiths.
I think almost anybody that's got a table would give you honest feedback if you ask them. Now, I will also say that most of us are sort of.
Dicks.
I don't know. I guess no. I was going to go the opposite direction.
No. Two kinds.
There's two. Yeah. So if somebody I don't know walks up to my table and says, "What do you think of this knife?" I'm gonna say it's a nice knife. Right, period. And I'm gonna hope they'll walk away. Right. if you come up to my table and say, "Can you critique this knife for me?" or "What can I improve about this knife?" then I'll tell you the truth. Right. So I think a lot of people are like that. Now, Otisir, you're also correct that there are a few folks out there who will be like, that knife is a piece of trash. Why'd you even bring it in the building? Right. Those guys do exist. And if you can get past that initial abrasiveness, though, their critical feedback is actually pretty good because they're looking at at details that are hard to see and hard to spot and hard to fix. Right. So those guys have a usefulness, even if they're a little unpleasant to approach.
All right. Got my answer. And thank you very much.
Yeah, anytime.
Then Otis here can get all smug on us and go, ABS member. Also, I belong to the guild.
Yeah,
Look at my knives.
Look at my stuff.
Touch my monkey. Touch my monkey.
Look at my stuff.
Good for you, buddy. It's I've never seen you make an ugly knife, and
I keep those hidden away.
You probably do, but it's been amazing to watch you even grow as a maker with the skills that you even brought to the group coming in. So,
hey, no, he'll be able to say this. You can look at it, you can take pictures of it, but you can't make it.
Don't spit on it. Don't spit on it.
Don't spit on it.
So that's what I was thinking. I'll get spit masks made that say the Knives Templars on them, and I'll have those.
No. It would be really nice if you had that little Hannibal Lecter mask on.
Yeah,
walking around.
I think Kyle Daly has a spit buddy on his website that's 3D printed.
Yeah,
really.
Hey, Otis, here, would you roll me up on a fork truck that kind of
I would
rolls me up, and I'm kind of tied to the fork truck with a jacket on and that spit mask?
Let's rent out the little dolly.
Yeah, he wants to look at your mask. He wants to look at your knives, Kyle. But we prepared him this year.
There you go.
Oh,
funny stuff. VMAX, how's Mardi Gras ramping up? You doing all right?
It's coming up. We do a lot of meetings, right, to get prepped for it. So a lot of stuff going on right now. So it's exciting. Everybody gets excited, right? And so the great thing is that folks love that time of year down here. Even that they're working, they're excited that they could just be part of the event. So even the workers that are working their full shift, and then they get off their shift, and at 5:00 they go back on shift until like 2 a.m, and then go back at shift at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Like they do that for 3 weeks, but and they're tired at the end, but they love it because it's like a lifestyle down here. So
yeah, I'm my work's ramping up a little bit here, getting ready to go into the new year as far as what I do during the day, and I'm so blessed that my company has got 27,000 employees, and we're throughout the North Carolina all the way over to Texas, up into Arkansas, and all the states in between. And I get the opportunity to get on. They have a few Gulfstream jets that we fly, so that makes it a lot easier. It makes you feel important for a day, even though the most important people in our company are the ones where my paycheck comes from. Trust me. But when we get together next episode, I think I land in Laurel, Mississippi, which is one of the airports where these planes land, and then I'll drive 3 hours home. I should get here just in time for the podcast, so it'll be good. It'll be good, and I'll be able to drive through Tuscaloosa, where we've got a brand new football coach. Okay, got that fella from Washington.
Quick question for the more veterans here, Eric and Jason.
Excuse me.
Yeah, the more veterans.
You just told me and Mark we don't matter, but you go right ahead.
Well, you haven't done what I'm going to ask about.
Okay,
so
what do you got, buddy?
Have you seen my resume? Have you seen my resume?
You haven't done what I'm going to ask about, so I mean, don't want to exclude you.
You haven't. Let me send you my resume before you make such comments. But go right ahead.
Okay, I'll wait for it.
His resume is broad, but not very deep.
I update it all the time.
Right now, I have 2 little billets that I still able to stretch it out. Usually when forging, we're squeezing in this direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Would it be recommended or even possible to go this direction and flatten out the other way?
Of course
so you
can.
Have different layers, different looking layers.
Yeah, you can do it that way. One of my first Damascus billets, my second or third one, I did that. I was like, well, what happens if you squish it the other way? So I just did it. It makes kind of a stripe pattern.
I think you're going to have more action on the surface of the steel, right?
Well, you're looking at the layers.
You're crossing, you know.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. You're going to get yourself an American flag.
I think I'll do that.
It'll be stripey.
My next one is going to
Otis, you're ready for some kumai now. Get your thermometer and do some kumai.
Not yet.
Okay.
Next week.
Hey, guys. I just want to let you know, as I always do, welcome to 2024. Next episode is episode 50. So I will be providing dinner here at the house if you want to come. If not, I'll eat it in front of you. But it is a celebratory dinner. And I'll probably even have party favors if you want to show up. I'm going by the Texaco and buying some nice knives to hand out. So it's entirely up to you. So I'm looking forward to that. Guys, we are so blessed to be a team, to be together and do what we do. And Otis, you're right. Those guys certainly are very talented, as is Joey.
No, I didn't mean to
leave you
out of the comment. It's just that
you did not. I'm giving you the punchline now. Don't be so sensitive, sissy man. So, with all that being said, Otis, I am so happy you're back on the episode because
so am I.
I consider you a dear friend.
I'm good.
Be the same without you.
So am I.
Mark, tell everybody. See you next time on behalf of the Templars.
Hey, everybody. See you next time.
On behalf of the Templars.
Oinky.
What?